I did want to do a small video about the environment that you're collecting from, because just because the plant is good for you and it's edible or it's medicinal doesn't mean that the environment it grew in is good for you. Some, actually quite a few plants, fall into a very hardy category, especially when it comes to wild um, plants. They will survive in a lot of conditions that are just not healthy for us as humans to be consuming. So, roadside areas, they're really not that great. And I know you saw a little short I did where I refused to um, pick up something that was right alongside the road, even though it was a dirt road. One of the other concerns for especially Northeast PA is we have very clay dense soil, which is just going to allow whatever rain comes down to spread further, because clay does not absorb moisture. It allows it to go further. We also have a very rocky terrain. So even though there might be a good layer of dirt, you go a foot and a half, 2 feet down, and you're hitting solid rock, or you're hitting a lot of jagged rocks, which is going to allow water to go even further. So when you mix lots of rocks with clay or a clay-based soil, the water is going to travel further. Once it comes down and hits the ground, it doesn't stop. It continues to go places. And I'm sure we've all seen water that's running alongside the road, in, drainage ditches and such. But just because you can see that on top of the road doesn't mean once it goes into the soil, it stops moving like that. It continues to go with gravity, just at a slightly slower pace. So the other thing is that the way roads are designed. So I drew this little thing here. So roads have a natural curve where the yellow lines are. They have a natural curve to go upwards towards where we paint the yellow lines. So when the water comes down, it hits here and slides off to the sides of the road into the drainage ditches, which is, good engineering to keep the water off the road so that it's not pooling and piling up and you don't end up with flooded roads as easily. But when it comes to harvesting, you want to be careful. Now, further on, let's say this here is a bridge and a road, all right, and it's going over a stream, like we have plenty of those areas. Water's coming down, right? It's going to it's going to come off the side of the road, and it's going to go down, and it's going to continue to go down. And because of our soil type here, it's going to go even further, and then it's going to hit the stream. Once it hits the stream, it's just going to carry even further. Anything that's further up here, up the stream, let's say there's farms or even a chemical plant, anything up there, it's coming downstream. Same thing over here. Now you've got trees here. They're going to absorb whatever's coming straight off the road, but you're also going to get the plants that absorb it. Now, if you're looking for something like, let's say, nettles that like nutrient-rich soil, they're going to probably be growing alongside the stream. Well, what's further upstream? Is there a chemical plant? Is it farmlands? Is it completely unknown to you? And then how close is it to a major road? Those are factors that you need to consider when you're, harvesting wildly. And there are some plants that no matter how badly you want to harvest them, you're not likely to find them safely harvestable in the wild. One that is somewhat saddening to me is chicory. There's a lot of chicory around that I've noticed, but I can't harvest it because of the fact that it's growing alongside the roads. Now, major highways, major roads, or anywhere that's highly populated, there are going to be pesticides. There's going to be tons of traffic. If you notice, most cars, their exhaust pipes are either pointing directly down at the road or they're pointing off to the side where the plants are. Now, the air is going to come out in a cone and kind of go up and out and blow away. Whereas when the water comes down, it's going to wash all the gunk on the road, off the road, and into the plants. And just because it's summer now doesn't mean that the stuff from winter hasn't affected the plants that are now growing. So we've got this nasty brine that they put down on the road here that it stops the ice and it stops ice buildup. Absolutely. Does it help with winter travel? Yes, absolutely. It also erodes metal. Can you imagine what that's doing to your insides if you were to eat it through a plant? Just because it was winter when it was put down doesn't mean the plants in the summer are safe. That's another thing about clay soil is that it holds on to those nutrients once it's dried into them. Now, it takes a lot for it to get in there, but once it's in there, and you're not getting rid of it. You also need to consider things like just general trash pollution. Um, you've got landfills in places that they get rained on too, and they've got a downhill location regardless of where it is. They've got a downhill location. So rain comes down in the trash in the landfill, and then that gets pushed out, and then it eventually gets carried into a stream of some kind, and things continue further. I happen to live in a more elevated location, so I feel more comfortable harvesting from nature around me, but that doesn't apply to everyone. And I am not I live on a dirt road, and there's not a ton of traffic. It's not heavily used, but I'm still not going to harvest right off the side of the road. Um, I would hazard a guess that safely you're looking about 10 feet back from the road, even further, to get a safe harvest, depending on the location. Now, if you're near a major road and it's got constant traffic, just don't even take the chance. Don't even take the chance. Even if you're going 20 to 30 feet back, I still wouldn't take that chance unless you know it's uphill from the road and there's no way the water traveled up. I mean, unless, you found a magician that made the water travel up. The way gravity pulls on the water needs to be taken into account when you're harvesting. So, I mean, even on a heavily populated um, road, I wouldn't harvest if I had the intent of eating it or using it medicinally. Now, if you found vines that were really good and you wanted to make a basket with, or you found just some really pretty leaves that you wanted to do some craft art with, that's fine. You're not ingesting it. There's no harm in that. Um, but if you intend to ingest it in any way, medicinally, and even if you are putting it on your skin is still going to absorb whatever you've put on it. So just be very mindful of where you're harvesting from and its surroundings. And if you're near like a stream, you really need to take into account a wider range of what's near it and what's further upstream and how far away is that major highway. Those are all things you really need to take into account when you're doing this. And more rainfall doesn't automatically mean cleaner soil, especially when it comes to a major highway, because more rainfall means it's pulling more off the road. So these are just things that I want people to be aware of, for safety, and so that you can harvest and feel confident that you haven't picked it up and you're not going to accidentally end up ingesting something you shouldn't. All right, everyone, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.